It's story time. I'm Dan with Dan's Haulaway, and let me tell you what we just experienced yesterday. So as we grow our business, we're always finding new issues, new problems, new things that are happening that we need to address and make sure that we don't have the same problems in the future. So yesterday, we encountered a fun little exercise, I guess you would call it. So we delivered a giant storage closet. And when I say giant, it was huge, okay? It was 8 feet tall, and then it was about 4 feet wide and about 18 inches deep. And I would describe it as basically a bookshelf with doors, but instead of it being a flimsy bookshelf, it was solid wood. This thing weighed about 400 pounds, I would say, and it was very awkward. So it was upstairs, we had to deliver it, we had to get it downstairs, we had to load it into our truck, and then we had to deliver it across town to Boulder, from Denver to Boulder, which is a nice little hefty drive. I'm gonna show you a little bit of stuff. We can see how we did it, and then we're going to learn from the things that we saw, okay? So let's go over this. So this was a unique piece, okay? So we did a rough example here of kind of what it is that we were dealing with. We had this giant closet upstairs, and what was unique about it was a kind of a high ceiling upstairs, but above the stairwell itself, the ceiling dropped, and it was lower than the piece itself. So we couldn't just move it to the top of the stairs and then take it down. We had to really maneuver some things. So we had to take it down, we wrapped it, we put it on its side, we did everything we could, taped it, blankets, saran wrap, did everything we could to protect this piece. It's big, heavy, okay? Now, the other obstacle was the staircase, okay? So this was a modern house, and instead of handrails, it was glass. It was just a giant piece of glass as your wall and handrail. Not only was it glass, but the owner was extremely adamant about not touching the glass. She didn't want anything to come loose. She was very worried one day that someone's gonna fall. But that's not really the case. It's meant to be secure, but you couldn't even touch it. Like, put your hand on it, it was like immediately, get your hand off the glass! Immediately. What? It was pretty bad. So what was unique about it was the glass here, but it was a tight hallway, and we had to lay it down on its thin side and put it on some wheels and then basically just wheel it over nice and slow, okay? But getting it down the stairs, we had 4 guys, mind you, okay? 4 guys all looking like that. But we had to get it down the stairs, and it wasn't easy. So the second we started taking it down is the second that all the wrapping started unraveling. It wasn't the fact that we wrapped it in a bad way. We felt that we wrapped it in an appropriate way, but we could have done better. But then what does better mean? And then does that make it any better for removing it? It went down the stairs. In total, it took us about an hour to get it from here all the way down to the bottom of the stairs and out the door. So once we were able to get it down here, we had to, at the bottom step, stand it up. Now, mind you, all this railing is glass. It's all glass. So we had to stand it up almost and get a good angle at the top of the stairs there, and then we had to pick it up and maneuver. And this is 400-pound closet. Was not easy to move. We did slight damage to some floors. And when I say slight, it was basically like an indent in the wood floor. There was a little bit more damage that we discovered later, but that's not really the point of the video here. It's just taking this large item here, okay? So once we got it out from the stairs, it was fairly simple to get it out of the door. It took us a little bit of time, obviously. We had to get some dollies and some more blankets to maneuver it through, but overall it went pretty smooth. Once we got it into the truck, we strapped everything down. Let's go sit back down here. So once we got everything into the truck, we strapped everything down. We took it all to Boulder. Everything went really smooth on the drive, but once we got there, we had to, all right, now let's plan on getting it inside this door. And then this was another interesting part. The piece itself was 103 inches high, and their ceilings were 108 inches high. How are we gonna stand this up? That was my thought. You know, I took on this job with a lot of questions here, and we're gonna talk about all that stuff. When we got it into the home, we found a vaulted ceiling right at the doorway to where we were able to stand it up without any problem, and we were able to get it into the location. No damage to the piece itself. It was great. And this homeowner, or this lady, she bought her house, her new house, around this one closet. She looked at houses, and if it didn't fit, she didn't buy it. So it's a very unique situation with this closet. Now I want to talk about some things with this, okay? So I want to give myself some grades. I want to talk about some of the different things that we discovered, and the overall work that we did. So in planning, all right, so there was a couple of things here. Understanding the job and the scope of the work, I fully understood that it was a giant piece of furniture. I knew it was extra tall. I knew it was at the top of the stairs. I knew it was a 90-degree landing at the bottom. I knew all of this. So I was prepared for what it is that we did, for what the piece was and where it was. I was prepared for that. Getting there were some surprises, okay? The two surprises was, one, that lowered ceiling at the top of the stairs threw a hiccup. The next one was the angle to get the piece to the top of the stairs was very tight. This is an 8-foot long, you know, item that we had to like roll and maneuver, and that took some finagling, and we made it happen. But that was something else that I was unprepared for that we discovered on site. We wrapped the furniture. We did a great job wrapping it, but we quickly unraveled itself because it was so awkward and hard to take down. So it just, like, there was nothing we can do. Like, it's a giant piece of furniture, and we're taking it downstairs, and we can't lift it. It's basically sliding down the stairs, and then the wrapping is just basically sliding up with it and coming off as we're going down the stairs. So at the top of the stairs, fully wrapped. At the bottom of the stairs, only half wrapped. Is, you know, pretty much the way it was. The movement planning, that went very well. So we didn't just move things, we did, like, you know, we very much talked it out and made sure all four of us were on the same page for every step of the way, which was really great. I did underprice the job. I probably could have, I priced it at total at $660, and I probably should have priced it closer to the $900 mark. And then the other question in the planning aspect is, should I have gone out there and seen it, okay? She described it to me, she offered that, she wanted me to do that, and I personally don't really do too many appointments. I can do everything from the phone, but at the same time, should I have, right? I did pre-scope out the product. She told me where it came from. She told me it was a restoration hardware piece, which if you know restoration hardware, extremely high quality, heavy pieces. I went into that store that weekend, and I found the display closet that she had, and I touched it, I played with it, and that thing was solid. So I kind of knew what I was getting into, but I think I knew that I was immediately underpricing it at the moment there. Now in the planning phase, if I were to grade myself, I'd probably give myself a C plus B minus for the entire thing. We did a really great job of on-site planning, but there should have been some other things done beforehand that I should have known about to make it a little bit easier. What could I have done better in wrapping? Not sure, but at the same time, you know, like, we have to learn from these moments to make it better and better and better. The presentation of the entire process, okay? So if we break down this entire thing from initial phone call to the planning, to getting there, all the way down to the delivery. Like, how did we do? What can we make up? What can we do better? All of those aspects here. So the presentation itself, okay? The guys, how were we, all right? We all showed up in our gear. Everybody was all nice looking. We did have a U-Haul, but that's pretty common, so that's not that big of a deal. Communication was amazing, okay? We're letting the customer know that we're coming. Me and Eamon were the second crew on site from the 4, and we were there a little bit early to kind of like evaluate some things beforehand. the overall knowledge that we presented, because the customer is watching. They are paying attention to how we're moving this and what we're doing. So we did very good at that, okay? The overall communication and knowledge, understanding that it's not gonna go here, that we have to do it this way, all the pre-planning that we did on site, that is a great thing that we did. But overall on the presentation side, I would give us a total of a B. Okay, so I think we did overall really well, but there's always room for improvement for things. And I think that we could have been a little bit better on actual taking down of the item, but it's still yet to be seen. What is there to make it easier, okay? Is there like a stair ramp that you can just like bring places and you can just slide on down? You know, like, do I need to invent something like that? But, you know, like those are things that, how can we make this kind of stuff better and easier? Now the overall execution, okay? So the delivery, the strapped load, the unloading, the delivery aspect, or getting it inside, that all went really smooth, okay? We got it into the truck, we loaded it up to the wall, we strapped it all down, made sure everything was secure. There was also a couple of other items that were in there which were also secured. And then when it came to unloading, it was super smooth and easy, getting it right onto the dolly, taking it to the location where we needed to, adjusting it, and moving it in. Click here or here, see some more videos.